completely solved that
All
problem.
the things. We've
Yeah.
done all the things.
What are there anything in particular that you think either automakers could help with, or like governments that they could do to really kind of bring this awareness, make it easier? Whether I know originally one of the things, like in California, for example, is HOV lanes was kind
Yeah.
of like, oh, I don't care if it's an electric car or not. I just want to use the HOV lane. And living in Oregon, we have like, I think maybe 2 miles in like the entire state of HOV lanes. So
Oh
I
my,
don't think that's going to work here or
right.
a lot of the Midwest states. But I'm just curious if there's any kind of ideas you've ever heard that is kind of like more of a carrot than stick incentive method that could really help kind of put
Yeah.
this idea in other people's heads when they're looking to buy their next car.
Well, automakers could help by wanting to be successful with it with EVs,
How is that all?
not just doing them for compliance reasons. Um, and some do, some don't, but there's a range. And I would say collectively, the automotive industry is still fairly ambivalent about wanting to do this at all. And so that manifests in marketing activities, in making what we tend to term compliance cars, so only available in certain states, maybe all the CARB states, but often just California, something like that. If I had a magic wand tomorrow, I'd fix the federal tax credit in a bunch of ways, not just lifting the cap as is currently proposed, but it wouldn't apply to vehicles that are not available nationwide, and it would be a rebate, and it would have an MSRP cap on it, because we shouldn't be subsidizing $120,000 electric cars for individual families, things like that. So there's those harder, less politically popular conversations that should happen if what we really want to do is move things forward in an economically effective way. But you're right that many of the incentives are not the financial ones. And we started the financial incentives way too early. The most effective incentive we ever had was the HOV lane one. But even today, in many places, it tends to be ones that offer convenience, access, privilege over financial incentives. It's the more emotional ones, really. Yeah. And so HOV lanes is one example, but even, I mean, what seems like kind of silly things like free parking at parking meters, it wasn't the I saved 25 cents or now $1 an hour or whatever it is. It was the not having to fish for quarters. It was the privilege and the
Well, as someone who's gotten a few parking tickets, it almost becomes the spite. Like, I don't even want to deal with it.
Right.
Just, yeah.
Right. And so it's the convenience of not having to deal with it more than I saved $2 today.
A spite car purchase, just not having to deal with parking anymore.
Yeah, and so there are those types of things as well, because a lot of cities and counties and sort of more localized regions kind of go, I can't do a $5,000 incentive, and therefore I'm kind of out of the conversation. And that's not true at all. Right. But it does require a little bit more creativity to go, what's within our power? What would actually resonate? How could we offer some convenience? But at the same time, make it equitable. I mean, the point is not to just give incentives to rich people who buy Teslas. It is to promote all EVs. And in particular, what I like is the renewed focus on a more complex conversation that needs to be had around used cars and incentivizing them, but also figuring out a way to certify their used battery quality and offer warranties and things like that, where, you know, folks are completely excited to buy a $10,000 used Volt or Leaf or whatever, but I kind of want to know what its actual condition is. And we've had cases of Nissan dealers resetting battery gauges and things. So we have to figure out a way to let the public more validly trust some of those vehicles when they buy them from unknown sources.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to visit our website, connectingthegrid.com. There you can listen to our podcasts, contact us about sponsorship, or even be a guest on Grid Connections. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a positive rating on your favorite podcast or video streaming service. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out a lot too. Thank you again, and I look forward to us learning more together soon.